Have you been to London? See, we laugh, and you know, it is funny, but it's stupid, okay? So that's what, but Stone was good for me. I had a lot of childhood stuff. I lost my father when I was 8 years old. He died of alcoholism. He was very violent to my mother, and so to get stoned for me was I didn't have to deal with that kind of stuff. I didn't have to deal with the pain of Dad and all that. So stoned allowed me to put all that stuff behind. But guess what? I woke up if I got stoned on Tuesday night, I woke up on Wednesday, the world's still there. The world's not going anywhere. I need my faculties to deal with the world. And not ask this poor young lady for the 18th time if she's been to London because it's on her sweatshirt. What is THC? It's a chemical in marijuana. It stands for something chlorine. I don't know. But it's one of the dangerous factors of marijuana that's laced in the marijuana. That the potency of THC is in direct correlation to how potent is the marijuana. THC is also, it comes in forms in pills. I've tried that in pills before too. THC, I think originally is something that they used to tranquilize horses. You can look that one up, but I think I'm right on that one. So if you'd like to try the same thing with which they tranquilize horses, go right ahead. I think I'd like to excuse myself at the end. But then you can, we're all bright people, we got our Blackberries and we got our internet and iPods and all that kind of stuff. You can look up THC. I don't know what it stands for at the moment, forgive me for that. If you are at a party that gets busted and you are not drinking, do you get into trouble? Excellent question.
Good question.
Chances are real good. It's real. Officer Clark, who's now back on duty, the officer who was shot and yet survived, he's back on duty now. If he comes in, we're all having a party, and I'm the only one not drinking, and everybody else is, or doing whatever they're doing, he's not going to say, hey Bob, no problem, go on your way. No, we're all getting locked up. Chances are real good. And you know what? I probably deserve it. There's an old line in AA meetings, I don't know, maybe outside of AA meetings too, if you lie down to dogs, you're going to get fleas. Okay? It's best for me to just be excused of the whole circumstance. I'm not saying that's for you, folks. I know you're going to be at parties. I know I've seen enough Facebook pictures, and I know what's in that red Solo cup that everybody's holding up. I know it's not water or orange juice. But the chances are real good, given the precepts of the question, if the party gets busted, you're getting busted too. Guess what? That's part of the game. That's what you sign up for. So the best thing for me is to follow Austin's advice and just not get involved in it. Excuse myself the whole equation. Okay? I think we already answered. Has anyone ever overdosed on weed? Yes. Or I've seen it. Would legalization of weed bring us out of the recession? I am terrible at finances. I know absolutely nothing about finances, so I don't know what put us in the recession. I would not even hazard a guess as to what will bring us out of it. It's a good question. You know what? And actually, if we tax marijuana, would we make money off of it? Would that bring us out of the recession? Could be. Is it worth it? Is it worth the one guy who drives into the bridge abutment because he's stoned? You tell me. I'll leave that up to you. You're all smart people. You can figure that one out. I would say I'd prefer to help the guy out who may be hooked on it. And once again, are cigarettes worse than weed for your health? All the science I read in preparation for coming down to talk with you and in my job, no, not necessarily. Both are equally harmful. So why do either? How did I start marijuana? I was, and it says at what age? I was 16, and his name's Charlie Sheen. I can say his name now because he got stoned and drove into a bridge abutment. He and I got stoned together, and he liked to do it a lot more than I did, and one night it got the best of him, and he died. But Charlie Sheen was my boyhood friend. We did everything together, including opening the top on Schlitz beer and trying my first reefer. I bowed to peer pressure. I'm sure you've all heard the phrase before. Charlie said, let's try this. It's pretty damn good. It's good. We're going to try this. I'm going to do that. Okay? So, I was 16, starting with Charlie Sheen. Everybody okay? Austin, you give me the word if you, okay. What gave you the idea to use drugs? Friends, family, etc.? Yes. All of the above. But ultimately, there's another line that says, no matter where you go, there you are. I tried drugs because I could. That's it. Why does a dog lick its private parts? Because it can. It's the same thing, folks. We can, you know, and I know that's a harsh joke and probably too ribald for church, but the heck with it. You think God can handle it? I think He can. He's a pretty big God. So He can handle my little ribald jokes. But ultimately, I have to recognize that I'm responsible for what I do. My little brother Jimmy didn't make me get stoned. My big sister Julie didn't. My friend Charlie Sheen didn't. Ultimately, it was up to me, and it's up to you. You can blame somebody else all you want to, but Michael Jackson, another drug addict, he had that wonderful song that said, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. And that's what I need to do too. I'm playing football here. Okay. Did you have a good home with your parents? My mother was remarkable, absolutely remarkable. When my father died at 36 years old because of his addiction to alcohol, my mother was called to raise 4 children who were growing up far too quickly. So my mother was absolutely remarkable and wonderful and did everything for me that she could. My mother is not responsible for what I did to myself. I had a great home, a wonderful home. The dad thing notwithstanding, I had a good home. And still wound up in a jumpsuit at Mecklenburg County Jail, wondering how in the world I got there. Okay? What made me drink alcohol at... Okay, somebody answer this for me now. What made me drink alcohol at 15 years? Me. We're talking about Bob. Huh? Peer pressure. Yeah. If there's one big answer, it's everybody else was doing it. Seemed like a good thing, seemed like a good idea. And I want to certainly keep up with my peers. They're doing it, and I don't want to feel like the pinhead out here who's not a nerd or whatever the verbiage is now. That was a big... Ultimately, I made the choice, but they sure helped. Everybody was doing it. It seemed like a good idea. What motivated me to quit? I had enough. I just finally had enough. And when you're in a jail cell and under a blanket that's really more holes than cover, when your pillow is a folded washcloth, and you're wearing a jumpsuit that you've got to have another guy help you with to get it off so you can go to the bathroom. That's a pretty big motivating factor. Have you ever heard the phrase rock bottom? That for me was rock bottom. Okay. 2 more.